Welcome to Scatter's Homestead. Today we are going to put up more maple syrup buckets and also clear out all the snow, finish clearing out all the snow from all the pails. We are into that weather now where it is above +4 and it is freezing at night. So in the next day or so here, I'm assuming we're going to be into full collection mode. Right now I'm looking at the trees that are here and nothing is dripping, so I don't think it's warm enough yet. The ground is still quite frozen, but we are into that weather now. So it is beautiful outside. It is like +8 and everything is melting. Also birds are in the trees and are singing. Got some Canadian geese coming back. Spring is in the air and we're really excited about it.
Do you hear what I hear? Cranes. Now I just want to give you an instructional on how to actually tap trees. You want to be looking for some kind of a sugar maple tree. We have Manitoba maples and they give really good maple syrup. And so Sheldon's been going around. You probably saw it if you saw the video that we made just a couple of days ago. He goes around with a drill. He's ahead of me out there. And he's drilling a hole into the tree. And so you can see right there, this is a fresh hole. This is actually a scarring from the one from last year. And then you need a spile. So this is a typical spile. There's a hook on there that you can hang the bucket on. And then you're gonna go ahead and you're gonna put that spile right into the tree. And then you go ahead and you just hammer it in there, that it's nice and firm. You don't want it to come falling out. And then you take a pail and you hang it on there. So the pails that we are using, they're just typical honey pails. We find them pretty simple. They're easy to get around here, and it's like a 1 liter honey pail. You can use, they actually have these are 4 liter honey pails, but you can get the actual maple syrup pails, and they are, what are they, aluminum, tin, galvanized? They're a galvanized pail that has a lid on top of them. They're not cheap, and so being the cheap person I am, I just don't even think about using that as an option. So we have honey pails. We live in like Honeyville. It's easy to come by. And then you just wait. There's nothing more you can do except for wait. You are waiting for this tree to start giving us some sap. So it will start dripping out of there. And then you come as many times as you have to within a day and you're collecting the sap. And so we come through here with 6-gallon pails and we just dump all of that in there. And then the next couple of steps is like straining it, putting it through cheesecloth. And we have a couple of different syrup strainers that we continue straining the sap through or the syrup through. We find that there is debris that will come into these pails. We'll find bark in there if it's a really windy day. And then sometimes you find like something that's been really neat is like dragonfly larvae. They look like little dragons. It's incredible. Sometimes they end up in there. I can't tell you how they get in there, but they find their way in there. So yeah, we have things like that just show up in the buckets, but it's fine. It's all getting strained anyways. It's not like it's been in there for hours. It literally has been in there like max 5 hours. And then we just keep emptying them out. And then you go on to the cooking process. But for now, we are going to work on getting all of these trees tapped. You know, weather is always a bit of a concern, so you might actually see we have a lot of snow. We have more snow than what we had the first time when Sheldon and Todd and Caden were, when they were tapping. And that's because we had a major winter storm and it snowed just as much snow as what we had the entire winter within 24 hours. So everything is covered in snow right now. But with these kinds of temperatures, you will see that eventually we'll be walking through puddles and mud. That is just a fact. And temperature is very important. It's not actually how much snow we have, but it's the temperature. So you have to make sure that we're hitting temperatures of like +4 during the day and going down into the negatives during the night. And basically when that leaves, when those temperatures stop, the sap just stops as well. Whoa. Yep, knee deep. So we are totally at the mercy of the weather. And isn't that how farming is? You're always at the mercy of the weather. So we have been waiting eagerly for this, and I know Sheldon's mentioned we are far behind in our maple syrup harvesting season. We have actually been done by this time, and we've been without snow by this time. It is just, it's just one of those years. It's, as you've heard in our videos, it's been a bit of a record year. But you know what? I'm hearing that everywhere. I'm hearing people mentioning, even out in South Carolina, that the storms seem worse. And, you know, the weather conditions are just worse right now. So what are you gonna do? Can't control the weather. We know that. Sheldon said that there's one out there that's actually dripping already. So I thought I was maybe seeing things, that I had seen one that was dripping here. But I think it's happening. That would be awesome. Would you look at that? We have sap. Listen to that sound. That is a beautiful sound. Have we had any other ones that are?
No, that's the first one.
First one.
It's officially started though. It's official.
This is official. We got another one. It's not nearly running as quickly as that last one, but, and these trees are side by side, and this is the best area. Right on the other side of that pond, or that hill right there, that's a pond. So we've actually always found that this area is probably the best for tapping, because these trees along the pond are very, very generous with sap. So I'm not surprised. Not surprised that these two are the ones that are.
These are superstars, these two.
Yeah. Superstars.
Kind of the hammer. I will.
We're calling it quits on our yard. We are going to walk over to Grandpa's and see if he wants to have any of his trees tapped. I figured it would be really awesome for us to set some stuff up there just so that he can actually see, get some more activity. We'll be there every single day, checking on the sap, seeing how it's running, collecting the sap. Maybe it will get him outside, that he'll come and collect with us. I don't know exactly what it will do, but we just figure it would be great to involve him. We do have more trees here that we could tap on our yard, but we're just thinking it's better to go ask Grandpa if he'd like some tapped on his yard so that we can just spend the spring with him and working on our maple syrup. So we're gonna carry the stack over and see how it goes. How's it feeling, Shell?
Beautiful.
Beautiful. It is. We've actually tapped a lot more trees than normal. We have tapped right around like these trees right here up until like the wood shelter. These trees have never been tapped before. So we're tapping those, we're adding those, and we put a lot more into the surrounding bush. So our maple trees are the trees that are surrounding our home front, like our yard. So if you're looking all the way around, those are all maple trees, and those trees all the way till our house, those are all maple trees, and they have all been tapped. So that's kind of where we're going to be spending our time now in spring. You're going to be with us. So Grandpa said, yes, we are going to tap a couple of trees on his property. And so it will be nice. We'll be able to get some of the maple syrup here. His property actually has way more maple trees than what ours does. These were the trees that we tapped when I was a little... Where is it? I can't see it. Grandpa's yelling, the fourth Nahaina. That means there's another one driving, but he's looking at planes. What was I saying? Oh, this is the property that I collected maple syrup on when I was a young child. We have so many maple trees here, and but thank goodness they spread into our property. So Sheldon and I have been able to take advantage of that for the last bunch of years. Whew. Okay, let's get to work. I'm looking down where we're walking. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but oh yeah, you can see it. You can see it right there. It's just filled with deer droppings here everywhere. That is because my grandpa's actually been feeding the deer all winter long. He collects corn off the property or off the fields once the guys have gone through with the combine or the harvester. And Grandpa will go behind and he'll collect all the corn cobs that were left on the field, and he will chuck them and he will store them, and he'll bring out a bunch every single day for the deer. So there is a lame deer that we saw in fall, and I was concerned, and I said, Grandpa, you think that deer is going to make it? He goes, absolutely, I'm feeding it. And that deer, I have seen it around. It is still around. So Grandpa took care of the deer. I don't know that it's ever going to be able to be completely healthy. It's just a matter of time, but you're in some oceans over there. Yeah. This is going to be wet. Yeah. It's true. This tree is a good example of a resilient maple tree, or at least how resilient maple trees are. It just has a ton of shoots just coming off of it all the way around. It's almost impossible for Sheldon to get in there properly. And that's because this tree has felt a threat somewhere, some way along the line, and it says, I got to drop shoots. And so it has. And there's actually quite a few trees like this in this part of the grove. And, you know, we've had a lot of wet seasons, but we also had a pretty major storm that came through here. That storm knocked down a ton of trees. So you can see behind me, there's trees lying down. That's still from that storm. Sheldon and one of my other cousins and my uncle, they come here from time to time and they try and clean up some of these trees. They're massive trees and they went down. And you know, it's common for maple trees to come down because they're a really, really wet tree. So they don't, they will get knocked down in wind. There's so much water in the tree. So we've had a lot of these trees go down, but then we've also had a lot of trees feeling kind of threatened over the whole situation. And so they have been dropping shoots all the way around their base. And it's just a little bit harder to get to them. As Sheldon continues drilling, I'm going to take you on a little bit of a tour. Here you can see the creek. Our house is right there, and the creek comes around like this, and it comes through this property, and now it swings around, goes under the road, and it goes off into my parents' property. But this spot right where I am standing, this spot right here, one of these maple trees, you can see compared to Sheldon how big these maple trees are. And there was a maple tree here that had a branch that hung over into the creek, like over top of the creek. And my brother and I, we would spend our summers on that limb, on that tree. And we just absolutely loved hanging out there. We loved, our imaginations went wild. And I'm a creative person. My imagination is always going crazy. And it did as a little child as well. And so this was one of the spots where I love to hang out. Water is just super special to me. This creek, I grew up around this creek. I've actually written, I wouldn't say a poem, but I've written about this creek, just some deep thoughts about how this creek has brought healing emotionally and on, because there's just been so many wonderful moments that I've had here, just staring into the water, watching it run past me. And yeah, so we had a big limb that hung over here, and we would climb up it and it was hanging over the creek, and so that we could hang out over top of the creek and just watch things come flowing by underneath us. And it was super special. The reason why it's not there anymore is because waterways came through. This company came through and they wanted to clear this creek of any debris so that the water would run quicker. And so they actually cut that limb off. And they with doing all of that, this creek actually runs so well in spring that usually there's no water left in this creek partway through the summer. And that it was never like that for me as a child. There was always water in this creek. There's fish in this creek. And it's not like that anymore. Now it's just drainage. That's all it is. But I sure love my springs here because it will get really full and it's just beautiful. I love sitting by it. And yeah, so there's a story of me growing up. I'm sure there will be many, many more stories like that as we are, walking this walking this road called life, because I am living on the property that I was raised on. So there's so many memories.
Last one. And then we've got all 140 tapped.
That's the most we've ever done.
We've ever done, yeah. Let the season begin. Very exciting.
And in saying that...
Sorry, I didn't know you had the video camera on.
That's fine. I think you guys can handle some kissing. And in saying that...
You might have some limitations, but that does not mean that you're limited.
Yes. Did you understand that?
Should I say it again? You may have some limitations, but that does not mean that you are limited.
You sound like you're reciting a Bible verse. Na 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 na.
Amen.
Yes, always remember you might have some limitations. You know, it could be a situation that comes up financially. It could be a disability. It could be an attitude. It could be anything big or small. But there's always limitations in life, and it's how you face them. And so I want you to remember that through those limitations, it never means that you're limited. It might mean that you have to think beyond yourself. It might mean that you're going to have to dig in and become a little stubborn. But yeah, there's never a limitation out there or that you cannot get through to some point. Lord willing. Let's say that. Lord willing. So yeah, we are done. We've tapped all the trees that we can tap. What did you say, 140?
140.
140 trees. So I hope you have enjoyed your time with us, and we'll see you next time.